of the ships. A general thought was being given that the more you improve the efficiency, the more you will be able to improve on your own firm that is running the ships. But despite the requirement of loading, unloading increasing, despite the requirement of the market size increasing, the ship industry was not able to do well. There was a failure in that. The people who brought in a new idea, they looked at the railway system, they looked at the transportation system, the road transport system. In that they saw that there is always some smaller component which takes the load, smaller load, to the main station, and from there then the load is carried forward. So this was the practice, which was an existing practice, which was put to use in a new environment of shipping industry. And with that, the shipping industry again boomed. So this requires a lot of observation, and innovation need not always be a something new product you have to come. There could be an idea in one context, you could think of using that idea with improvements in another context. Another thing which is there for us to learn is that if there is a process which is happening in some context, do you find some incongruity in that? And in that context, I would like to give you the example of cataract surgery. Cataract surgery used to be, it still is, one of the easiest surgeries which was being done. The only thing which was found difficult by the surgeons was to cut ligaments. And they were not able to somehow integrate this practice into their operation of cataract. Then this industry, there was a laboratory who named Alcon Laboratories. They got to know of this fact that this ligament which the surgeons are cutting, this can be dissolved by a particular enzyme. So all that they had to do was to keep this ligament in that enzyme with some preservatives so that it could be then used whenever the surgery is happening, and thereby made the cataract surgery very simple. So if you are finding that there is some process which is happening and there is some problem in between, you could think of improving that and innovating that. And the last, but the most well-known, but the most difficult innovations is the new knowledge that you generate. Like Thomas Alva Edison finding about the bulbs, or the Wright brothers about the aircrafts. It looks, for us today, we take it for granted, you switch on the light and the bulb glows, or all of us, we just buy a ticket and fly, little realizing how much effort did it take to reach up to that point. Research says that it takes about 50 years from the time an idea is generated till the time it takes a form of a product which can be put to use for the society. Computers have taken about this much of time. And it also requires not only the knowledge of one domain, it requires the knowledge of multiple domains. So if you've got to be a good innovator, and if you are thinking that you will generate new knowledge, you've got to be prepared for a very hard work, and not only be thinking about your one subject, you've got to think about how that subject links with other subjects. In this connection, I would also like to tell all of you that tomorrow's specialists are going to be not the ones who specialize in one particular subject, let's say mathematics or science or social science. But tomorrow's specialists are going to be the ones who are going to specialize how do they connect the knowledge of one field with the knowledge of another field. All of us have seen the doctors working efficiently with different machines which are existing. And you would, if you have been following the recent trends, you would also have seen that many of the engineers are joining the medical profession because they feel that they are comfortable with the machines, and if they know how do you use those machines well, you can serve the humanity better. So the future specialists are not going to be in their silos. They are going to be the ones who know the importance of connecting with others and who know how to think in a divergent way. But how will all this happen? Will this happen on its own? Especially if I talk in the context of a city like Pune, where majority of the parents are working and the children for most of their productive time are in the schools, schools will have to play a very big role. They will have to give an environment in which the children, the students are encouraged to think in a divergent way, to ask questions, to learn from others, and to experiment. But given the load of the syllabus that is there, is that possible? Which brings me to my first question, that if there is a load, if you are seeing that something is failing, there lies an opportunity. So I'm sure that the school will think innovatively about this, and all the children who are present here will think innovatively about this. There is a concept of flipped classroom and so on and so forth, and try to think and try to come up with the processes of the schools by which, while we are able to cover the syllabus that a child is supposed to cover in a year and achieve the learning outcomes, he or she is also able to have the attitude, a positive attitude towards innovation. Lastly, and with that I would like to end, that everything will be a failure unless you have very high values. Innovating and improving something, unless it helps the mankind, it's of no use. Few days back only we had the anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Those were also innovations by some people, but the way they were put to use, all of us know that such an innovation none of us would want. Similarly, we are aware about certain people who are constantly thinking. We know that number of organizations who have hired engineers and doctors to work innovatively for them against the mankind. So it's extremely important, therefore, to have a very strong value system. And how will that come? That will come by believing in yourself. Believe in yourself. Think about what do you want, what do your parents want, what does your school want, and then whatever idea you get, follow that, and I'm sure with that you will be the best of the innovators that India have ever had. And I look forward to meeting you some other time when your success is being celebrated as the innovators, as we are celebrating 3 of the innovators who are present here today. Thank you so much.
Now we'll have a short felicitation ceremony for all our distinguished guests here. We would like to felicitate Honorable Chairman Vineet Joshi ji. I would also request Dr. Mohan Agashi ji to come up on the stage. Mr. Anup Tapadia and Karan Chafekar. Let's give them a big applause.
Okay. Honorable Chairman, sir, we just want to explain to you, as I mentioned, that this year is dedicated to our role models, and we want to thank them and we want to salute them. Our school's mission and vision statement is also very, very closely connected with that. Orchid wants to also salute the locally rooted, globally competent citizen, and you embody that for us. You have taken CBSE to the shore beyond Indian boundaries, and also made it a very, very global concept that people would actually buy into. And you really had the art of persuasion and convincing. It's not very easy to work with educationists. Thank you so much. May I request our Prajnaniketan Education Society's president to come and do the honor. This is going to be a little embarrassing, but it's a cute embarrassment we want to put you through. I know you have never ever worn a Miss Universe sash, but today we want to put a sash around you to say thank you for being our role model. Come to this.
Shri Vinit Joshiji is one such role model. He had the courage and the conviction to bring about a change in the otherwise dormant field of education. He showed us that if you have an idea and firmly believe in it, you do not have to wait for the world to approve it. Shri Vinit Joshiji sowed the seeds of change in the arena of predominantly female gender who are known to be extremely resistant to change. With a strong convincing power, he managed to bring about reforms in education and made a nationwide transformation in education.
Going back to school, he says. Maybe like a class captain, right?
Yeah.
But he's our captain for the education system. Thank you.
He recognized the local reality. He saw the potential to introduce vocational subjects into developing practical skills. He made every global citizen sit up and look at